Howdy folks, High Value DMD. Don't just give me your subscription, but please let me earn it. Let me earn your like and let me earn your comment. Young men today are lost and they do not understand masculinity. It seems as if at every angle, men are clueless. Young men are clueless. They don't know where they fit in. They don't know what to do for a career or how to progress in a career. They do not understand about dating and relationships. They do not understand how to talk and how to act. They do not understand what they believe, what their faith is, any sort of religious ideology. They don't understand how to dress. They don't understand how to be a masculine man. And I think a lot of that has to do with simply a lot of young men are raised by women. There's a lot of young people these days that do not have a male influence in their life. And you act the way you do depending on the people that are around you. So in my life, I had a mom and a dad when I was growing up. Very, very lucky. And they're still married to this day. I saw my mother taking care of the house, doing those roles. And I saw my father, who is a construction worker. He was a custom home builder, has done a lot of jobs in his life. Now he owns a small business. I'll leave it at that. I physically saw my dad with my two eyes on a job site, hauling lumber, banging nails, putting up sheetrock, grouting and laying tile with his own hands. And his hands were actually allergic to the grout or something. I saw him put his body on the line each and every day to provide for myself and my sisters and brothers. I saw him wear that tool belt. I saw him drive a truck. His whole life, he's always driven a truck. Hauling trailers of trash to the dump ground. Hauling equipment. Hauling the tractor out to a field to go mow the field. That is what I saw in my life growing up. And what I'm going to do for my career is I'm going to be a dentist. Okay, my dad wanted me to have an even better job than he did that paid more money, quite frankly. He wanted me to work in the air conditioning. Crazy, right? But part of the job that I was looking for was to work in the air conditioning. And I'm not saying dentistry is easy because it's very hard. It can be physically difficult as well. It may not look like it, but it can be. And then I'm also I'm going to be doing more school to be an oral surgeon. I am the way I am because I saw my dad do what he did. And his dad before him. I was actually young, and my grandfather now, he is very old and he's not the greatest of health. But I had the privilege of seeing my grandfather work on his rent houses. And I would go with him sometimes. And I'm not near as handy as they are. I'm definitely as hard of a worker as they are. But I don't have all the skills that they do. Because I've just been doing the school thing the whole way through. Focusing on my grades. I got to see two generations of that hard work. Of that, in my opinion, that is what is a man to me. A man goes out, uses his hands, does something, and he makes a living to bring home for his family. I saw my grandfather do it, provided abundantly for Christmas presents for all the grandkids. I saw my dad do it. My dad built the house I lived in. He built. He used subcontractors, but he also did a lot of the work. He painted the home. So I was lucky enough to have an example in my own life of who to look to for masculinity. And I'm not saying that they were perfect, my grandfather and my father, because in certain ways, in things that needed to be communicated and other leadership ways, they could have done better. But I at least saw what a man was From the sweat of his brow, from the sweat of his back, he provided. And there are so many young men today that have no idea what a man looks like. There are so many young men today that were born in single mother households. Maybe the dad, they left. I don't know. And so you have these young men, they are emotionally unhinged. They do not know how to be even kiltered. They do not know how to speak to somebody. My father went into banks and spoke their language to make business deals, to close on a loan for a house, a speculation house he was going to build. All of those skills I witnessed and I carried over into my life. People don't have that. They don't have anything to compare to. Your father is who is really going to impart a lot of the culture that you have in your own life. My father loved Westerns. He loved Bonanza. He loves the Rifleman. Old show, you may not know what it is. He loves John Wayne. Loves action movies. He loves country music. And what do all of those things, all those hobbies have in common? He also loves guns and shooting and all of those things. My uncles do as well, okay? All of those things are extremely masculine hobbies and interests. Western movies. Just let's stay on Western movies for a second. A lot of these young guys are watching rappers and they're listening to garbage music. They're watching stupid movies with all of these ambiguous gendered people and watching men with tight pants on, like these freaking, like, I don't know, Love Island or some of these stupid shows, okay? These jackwagon dudes who think they're these hard dudes. But they don't represent anything. Like, they don't represent honor. They don't represent leadership. They don't represent respect and faith in God. Things like that. But when you turn on a Western, you see a dude, and back then, working out wasn't as big of a deal. So maybe they're not as buff and things like that. But when you turn on a Western, you see a man on a horse. And he's wearing pretty nice clothes. He's wearing a vest, and he's squared away. He rides into town. He's got a revolver on his hip, and he walks into a bar, and he tries to hold frame, and to look tough, and he acts tough. And at least the hero is going to treat the woman with respect. They're going to go save the woman. They're going to open the door for a woman. They're going to have this old world chivalrous approach. And when you consume media like that, when you see that, when you see how this guy is dressing, you see this guy wearing cowboy boots. Nothing is manlier than a pair of cowboy boots, man. They make you taller. You feel like you can do anything in a pair of cowboy boots. When you see a man in media wearing that, that's somebody you want to be like. And it's no wonder that modern Westerns are like Yellowstone, 1923, are super popular right now. I need to make a whole separate video about Westerns and the culture that imparts. But when I see that growing up, that's what a man is to me. That's a man to me. These young guys are seeing cinema and media of men that are weak, that are indecisive, that are made fun of. In a Western, you're not going to see a family man be the brunt of a joke, all right? You're going to see a family man put his boot upside your rear end, okay? That's what's going to happen if you start mouthing off, or you're going to get a bullet in your chest, all right? But nowadays, it's just a bunch of pansy nonsense. And that's what young guys are looking at. I feel sorry for men that don't have that. But that's why young men are looking on the internet for something, man. There are tons of videos that are replacing the father, that are trying to teach people what masculinity is. You can go on there and you can find videos about managing your finances. You can find videos about how to dress. Hey, if you don't have a guy in your life that is looking like a bad dude, okay, that's squared away, that's professional, that's clean looking, what are you going to do? You're going to go on the internet. And there's channels that are dedicated to show you how to dress. And a lot of those channels I think are a bunch of hooey, because it's men that aren't masculine showing other men what they think is cool and how to be a man, okay? People are going on here on how to date. And why do you think the red pill and the MGTOW videos are so craved and sought after right now? Because these guys, they don't have a mentor telling them on how to do anything. You can't just figure this out on your own. You can't do it. You can't just wake up and be a man. That's not how this works. To be a man, to understand masculinity, you have to learn it. You have to observe it. You have to shadow it. Why do you think so many trades throughout history always had like a mentor and then the mentee, and then eventually they could join the guild or whatever? That's how this works. Without somebody to show you how to do this, you will never arrive. You will never figure it out. That's how you end up in a pair of skinny jeans and a pair of high-top basketball shoes thinking you're a dude and you're masculine. Sorry, that's not the way to do it. That's not what a man wears. That's not what a family man wears. That's not what a real husband wears. Okay? I'm sorry, this is the way I see it. All right? And I made a video of what I think is the right way to look. And people are going on the internet, on all these videos, they're just looking for something. Men are hungry for leadership, and they're not going to get it from a female boss on their job site. They're not going to get it from a female teacher. Most teachers nowadays are female, and I think women are very good teachers. But there's a reason why the young dude, he craves the attention of the coach, of the male coach. Okay, teachers, pastors. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have a male pastor in your life. A man cannot just run around their whole life without any sort of values, any sort of faith. They are not going to learn from a female pastor, because the female pastor cannot understand what's going through their mind, what their experience is. We need male pastors. Just the general message of this video is male leadership is lacking. And maybe you have a father in your house, but they're not being the leader that you really need them to be. A lot of men these days are extremely passive. And nothing damages a household more. Nothing damages a wife's way of walking through the world. Nothing hinders a daughter more. Nothing hinders a son more than a man that is passive, that is not leading their household, that is not teaching and feeding these hungry young minds that need education. We are lost without masculinity. We are lost without true leaders and teachers. And I hope that men will step up and they will fill this role that is greatly needed. Why do you think Jordan Peterson came to such prominence? He's just an example. Like, there's tons and tons of content on the internet that is trying to be this masculinity that people need. And with that, I hope I earned your subscription. I hope I earned your like, and I hope I earned your comment. Let me know what you think below. Until next time.